back to my channel. I know it's been a long time since I've posted anything, but I've been really busy with school lately and this semester is ending in a couple of weeks, so a lot of final projects are happening and I need to wrap them up and other things like that. So I haven't really had the time or the motivation to sit down and film anything, but I do have a nice stack of books here because, as the title says, I'm going to be doing a book haul. So these are all books that I have accumulated since the last book haul that I've done, but two of them were actually gifted to me by my abuela, so very grateful for her. So I'm just going to be going through them in no real particular order or anything like that, so I don't want to make this too long. I kind of just want to jump right into it with the first book. The first book I have here is actually a poetry collection by an author that I have never read anything by before, but I'm super excited, and that is The Girl and the Goddess, Stories and Poems of Divine Wisdom by Nikita Gill. I am really excited to read this particular collection because it has to do with like gods and goddesses and things like that, and I always find like mythology really interesting. But I also am just a huge lover of poetry. It's one of my favorite mediums to read. I have a whole shelf actually like up here that is just completely filled with poetry collections by a bunch of different authors. And I'm really excited to read from her specifically because I have never read a Nikita Gill collection of poetry before, but I know that she is wildly popular on Instagram. I wasn't expecting it to be this big though. Like, this is well over 300 pages, but it does include illustrations, and I'm just super duper excited to read this. This was actually a gift from my abuela, so I want to thank her so much because I was really excited. She sent this to me and I'm so thrilled, so thank you so much. The second book I have here is also another book that my abuela sent me, but not at the same time, and this is one that I have actually had my eye on and I first heard about from Inquisitive Bookworm, which is actually a bookstagrammer on Instagram, and I have followed her for about a year and I just love her so much, and I am just super excited to dive right into it because it's different from what I've read in the past, and that is Confessions in B Flat by Donna Hill. I have never read a Donna Hill book, but from reading her like author statement in the back of this book, she's actually like quite accomplished. She has many books in her backlist, well over 90 titles, and she is the pioneer of the African American romance genre. I'm really excited to jump into this story in particular because it takes place during the civil rights movement. This book takes place in 1963 in Harlem, where Black culture is really the epicenter of the city, and it's a lot of turmoil because it is taking place during the civil rights movement, and we follow two characters who believe in two different ideologies. We follow Anita, who believes in the teachings of Malcolm X. She believes that the way to true freedom is by any means necessary. We also follow Jason, who believes in the teachings of Martin Luther King about passive resistance and peaceful protest. Well, one day Anita goes and sees Jason perform beat poetry in a club, and she is immediately transfixed by his words and his teachings, and they end up sparking a relationship. But the main problem of the story is that they come from two different ideologies and from two Black men who believed in two different things for the Black community, and it's kind of about them working through what they believe and what they want for the future of themselves, but also their people. And I'm really excited to jump into this because I absolutely adore historical fiction. It's one of my favorite genres, but I'm really interested to read about this time period in particular. I have never read like a book set during this time, so I'm really excited and I cannot wait to read this. Also, the cover is just very pretty, so I will definitely let you guys know how it is when I do get to it. Now we're going to get into the books that I bought, which is basically the rest of the books. So the first three books I actually got from Book Depository because I love this author very much and I've read these three books by him, but I wanted these particular covers and you will see why. So I'm going to start with More Happy Than Not by SIlvera. I love this book so much. I read this back in middle school and it was really good, so I really wanted to pick up a copy because I have never had a copy of this, and as you can see, it is just so pretty. All the smiley faces and like the font and everything, it is so wonderful. This book follows 16-year-old Erin Soto, who is going through a really tough time. He just discovered that his father has committed suicide, and he's having some issues with his girlfriend. And this is actually set during a bit of a future time where you can actually get a procedure to erase unwanted memories. And when Aaron meets a new boy and he starts having serious relationship type feelings for him, he doesn't know what to do about it, and he decides that he wants to erase all of the unwanted memories, including the feelings, and he kind of has to deal with that and all of the conflict that takes place because of it. This is really a coming of age novel at its heart, and it's about Aaron learning to love himself for who he is, for who he truly wants to be. The next one I have is definitely my second favorite novel, but this is probably my favorite cover of the three that I have, and that is History Is All You Left Me, also by SIlvera. This book follows Griffin, who lost his first love, Theo, in a drowning accident, and he is struggling to cope, but he ends up coming in contact with Theo's new boyfriend, and they kind of form a relationship of some sort. This book is extremely sad, and I've talked about it before on my channel, but this book is extremely sad and it will really rip your heart out, but it is so beautifully written and it's so beautifully done. It talks about grief in a way that is manageable and real. It doesn't romanticize it in any way, and it really does document like the struggle that Griffin and Jackson go through dealing with the loss of somebody that they love. It's just absolutely wonderful. I definitely recommend it. It is one of my favorites of all time. I put it in my YA contemporary recommendations video for a reason, because it is just that good. The next book I have here is also by this author, and I forgot to mention it in my YA recommendations video, but it's okay. We will forgive myself for that. And that is They Both Die at the End. This book follows Rufus and Mateo, and they get a call from Deathcast basically saying that they are going to die at the end of the day. And this book takes place in a futuristic version of New York where everybody receives a death date, and they will get a call saying that they will die on this day. No particular time, no particular method of death. So they kind of go on an app to meet people who are also going through their death day so they can spend it together, and they meet and they form a relationship and go on a bunch of adventures. And it is so good, and this book takes place literally in a matter of a day. I listened to this as an audiobook and it was just wonderful. It was really easy to tell who Rufus and Mateo were as people because the narrators did a wonderful job of differentiating their personalities and not making them sound the same. They are just so amazing. Rufus and Mateo, I live for them. I ship them so hard. They are amazing. And this is definitely one of my favorite covers. Like, it is absolutely gorgeous with the purple and the shiny blue on the side. And when you put like all these books together with the spines just matching, it is just absolutely beautiful. I have it sitting on my third contemporary shelf on my bookshelf over there, and they just look beautiful together. So I'm very happy about that. The next book I have here is actually the first in a series, and I want to give a really big shout out to my friend Katie, who actually sent me a gift card to buy this book. So I basically got this book for free. So Katie, if you're watching this, I love you. You are amazing. Thank you so much for that, by the way, because I was broke and I was in no position to be buying a book. The book I have here is the first in a series that I'm so excited to have, and I'm so excited to start collecting, and that is A Whole New World by Liz Braswell. This book is the first in the Twisted Tales series, which basically takes Disney stories, very popular Disney stories like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Aladdin, and they turn them on their head and give them a what-if scenario. So the what-if scenario for this book is, what if Aladdin had never found the lamp? And in the movie, if you have seen it, you know that Aladdin is tasked with finding the lamp. And in this book, it reimagines it, and it was as if Jafar got the lamp and not Aladdin. Aladdin and Jasmine have to team up to save Aqaba, and it is so wonderful. I'm so excited to get into it. And what I love is that these can be read like out of order. They can be read alone because they are just companion novels and nothing crosses over. So I'm just so excited to pick this up. The next book in the series, I believe, is Once Upon a Dream, which is about Sleeping Beauty, and I am just so happy. The newest one just came out and it was about Ursula, and there's another one coming out about Tangled, and I am just, I cannot, I'm like getting my entire life from this series. I cannot wait, and honestly, I don't even care if I'm disappointed because I'm going to continue reading the series, and I want to collect it all in paperback because these paperbacks are like super condensed. This is like a 300 am I wrong, a 400 page book. This is like a 300 page book and it's condensed to like this, whereas like I have other 300 page books and they do not look like this. Like you could just hear it. If you cannot tell, I'm all over the place because I'm so excited to read this. The next 3 books I got from Barnes & Noble, so I'm just gonna jump right in with the next one, and this one is called The Enigma Game by Elizabeth Wein, who is the author of Codename Verity, which I read last year and I loved. It's so amazing. I need to read the next book in the series, but that's a different matter. This book is set in 1940 and we follow a girl named Louisa who had just lost her parents to an enemy attack, and she decides to take a job caring for an elderly woman in Scotland. Louisa and her 2 new friends are trying to work together to crack the Enigma machine, which is what Germany uses to translate code. And that's kind of like what the story is about. They are trying to solve this puzzle, and it is a really big thing because if they crack this code, they can get into all the secrets of Germany. I'm really excited to read this. It's a pretty decently long novel, so I'm so ready to jump into it. I need another historical fiction and I'm just so excited to get into this. It's a standalone, so we're just going to work through it. And I honestly really love this cover. I think it's really nice. But yeah, I'm excited. The next book I have here is actually a pre-order that I got in the mail back in March from one of my favorite authors. All their books are right here, and that is The Mirror Season by Anna Marie McLemore. I just finished reading this book yesterday, and I can tell you this is probably Anna Marie McLemore's most contemporary book to date. They normally write within magical realism, but they really stepped out of their comfort zone to do something like this, and I will say that this book is completely heartbreaking and it is tragic. We basically follow 2 characters. We follow Celia, who was raped at a party, and we also follow Locked, who was raped at the same party by the same people, and they kind of form a connection, and it is extremely heartbreaking and it's super magical as well. And this is drawn on Anna Marie McLemore's experience also being raped at a college party by somebody who raped another man that same night. And this book really drew on those experiences, and reading the author's note at the end of this book was like probably the most crushing part of this entire book. I was definitely almost in tears, and I never cry, but I was just blown away by how well this was written and how well it handled the topic of sexual assault. I can just say without a doubt this was a beautiful book. It was wonderful. I literally will never not love one of Anna Marie McLemore's books. I am so excited for whenever they release a new one, because they better be releasing one next year. I only have one more book to hold me over, and it's Miss Meteor, and I'm not ready to read it yet, because if I read it too early now, I'm not going to have nothing to hold me over for 2022 or whenever they plan on releasing another book. But I will say, like, if you're not going to pick up any of Anna Marie McLemore's books, you need to at least pick up this one. And if you are a contemporary fan, you will definitely love this. Please read this. It is so good. I loved it, and I'm just really excited to finally show it off, because I've got this in the mail like last month and I've wanted to show everybody for a while, but I haven't had the chance to, so take a look. We are on to the final book in this book haul, and this is actually a book I just got yesterday. I went out with one of my good friends, Chrissy, and we went to Barnes & Noble's and we had lunch and we went to go see a wind ensemble. But getting this book was definitely the highlight because I am just so excited. It is a 2021 release, and that is Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. I am so excited for. One, because the author is Native American, and I have never read a book by a Native American author ever, and I'm super duper excited. I don't know many YA books that are written by Native American authors, but I'm so happy that we have one that is getting so much attention. This is actually a Reese Witherspoon YA book club pick. I'm so happy that this book is getting a lot of attention and a lot of hype right now, because we need more POCs, especially Native Americans, to be represented. But I'm super excited. From what I know, this is basically a thriller set on a reservation, and I'm so happy. It follows this girl named Denise who doesn't really fit in, and she's getting ready to start college, and she ends up putting her life on hold because her mom suffers some kind of tragedy, and she meets this boy named Jamie, But when she starts to fall for him, she senses that something is not right. And then the FBI ask her to help them with a murder investigation because she is a witness to a murder. And it is so crazy, and I'm just so excited. I don't read a lot of thrillers. The last thriller I read was Gone Girl. I really loved that book, so I'm ready to jump into some more thrillers, and I just cannot wait. This is also really long. Like, this is well over 500 pages. No, it's not. I lied. It is 480 something. It's very long, but I'm really happy to jump into it. And again, I cannot get over how gorgeous. Like, just, can we have a moment of silence for the cover, please? Oh, there's nothing like stacking books. Oh, this is gonna be so heavy, and my back hurts. So these are all the books that I have had to show you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are interested in seeing any of my other videos, please hit subscribe and like this video and comment if you would like to see more from me. I hope to make a permanent return soon, but right now I will just be uploading as much as I can. So thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Thank you so much for all of the support, the comments, the subscribers. It really does mean a lot to me. And please, 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 if you like this video, please share it with your friends, your family, anybody you think is interested. And I hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are.